where your mind is at and what things you're kind of thinking and processing through, especially from a perspective of what you want to do to get more clients, to get more deals, to be in front of people. And social media is that great way to do that and a way to bridge that in. But it's not necessarily, hey, I need to talk entirely all about real estate and I need to do this from a perspective of, I'm going to talk about whatever's going on. That's not the best way to do social media. And the way that I did my social media, the way that I've coached other people on with social medias and helped other brands, it has to do with what do you do special and what makes you different compared to those other people that are in your market. Because at the end of the day, every realtor is different for a number of different reasons. And it could be the way that they speak, it's the way that they present, the way that they go on tours, the way that they look at data, the way that they, do different analysis of different data or rates, the way that they have their contracting, the way that they show up on time. It's just like there's so many different variables that make us us. And social media is the chance to really kind of compound with all of that, because you have these special things that are unique to you. You have unique stories, you have unique problems that you went through with any previous person that you've ever sold a home for, bought a home for, or been in any type of process. There was a problem that came up. You either figured it out, so now you have a solution to that problem, which then led you into the next problem, which you might not have a solution for, but you know that it's a problem. Or you just have an endless list of different solutions that you solve, and then retroactively you know the problem. So you can talk to every single one of those problems that you solve regularly. You can find out which ones are the best ones, and then how do you do it? How do you approach it? How do you come across? What's your tone? What's your attitude behind it? What's your position? What's your messaging? All of those things that when you think about a brand, so let's use example Nike. Everyone knows just do it, but it's like, okay, how did you get around to Nike? If you say Nike, some people immediately think of the swoosh, some people think of LeBron, some people think of MJ, some people say just do it, some people look at the shoes, some people look at the other things that they're doing, some people look at jerseys. Like there's so many different things that their tentacles are in, but they've only gotten that way through a repeated messaging, through a repeated structure, through a repeated thing that makes them them. They're not Under Armour, even though they do the same things. Realtors are the exact same, and anything that you're doing, it's the exact same. So social media and growing a brand, you have to have all these little micro questions and micro conversations with yourself to go, okay, what are the best problems that I solve? Who are the best clients that I have? Who do I like dealing with? Who do I not like dealing with? What was so easy in that transaction that wasn't easy with the other ones? Okay, is this transaction something that I want to do more of, or do I want to do more of these? Do I want to do some bigger scale ones? Do I want to do more little ones? Do I want to deal with these types of people or these types of people? And there again, these are all so many different variables that you start to flag and get an answer for. Then you kind of compile them all together, and we essentially put them into buckets is the way that I like to go about it. Is every person kind of has three pretty big buckets that you can then split into three sub buckets. And so when you look at it, it's technically 12 topics if you go three main and then the 9 that are underneath, but that gives you 12 different things that you can post on social media about, that you have unique knowledge in, that you are essentially, like, we want to use jujitsu terms, you are the ultimate winner. You are the best in your space. And the thing that we're doing with social media is you have to craft your space. Social media, you build this arena for yourself because it's not real. You build this arena for yourself where you are the champion. You are the best person in this space. And then you shout and tell people, hey, you can come hang out in my arena, but it's based off of what you do and what you're unique at. And so taking, hey, you're a coach, you have this personality and connectability through sports and being able to coach and teach. Boom, that's an instant connect in with the parents. There's a whole world that falls into. Jiu-jitsu's inside of that world, but it's a separate subsector, the same way soccer is different. So like say sports, boom, jiu-jitsu, soccer, even just coaching in general. That's 3 easy subcategories. So it's finding out which people you want to talk to and how you want to approach your social media. And so that's, I guess, in terms of why I ask you these big amorphous questions, because we're going to start to get a lot more honed and dialed in and kind of as we go. So it's just like we just keep trimming and keep trimming and keep trimming. So now we're at a point where what are the best people that you like being around? Who do you feel you speak to the best? What problems do you solve the best? What solutions do you have? What makes you you? What do you want to be known for?
Okay, well, I'm going to go back a little bit to what you were talking about earlier about what makes you different than a lot of realtors. So, what I've been praised for recently was, and I think I have an advantage that I am an extrovert and I'm not like, I'm not afraid to, I mean, even if she ever sees, I don't know if she'd see this, whatever. Even with my, I have a co-realtor. She's in the same brokerage. One day I'm like, hey, we should go network and go pass cards, and she's like, sure, let's do this. And we go out, and she couldn't even have a conversation with anyone. She's like, I gotta get a few drinks in, and how are you doing this? And you're just gonna randomly go up to this man like he's having his dinner. And I'm like, yeah, but he's having his dinner at the bar, listening to live music. Like, it's an open invitation. Like, you need to talk. Like, you need to put yourself out there. So, with that being said, I'm super extrovert, and that's just naturally who I am. I think people who are extrovert have an advantage. I'm not discrediting if you're an introvert. That's okay. You can maybe have better one-on-one. Don't like big crowds. That's not who I am. So I use that to my advantage. And what I was recently praised for was when we were doing a tour of showings. I was with a family, showing them some homes. They kind of weren't too happy with the ones they were seeing because some pictures are deceiving. And I said, you know what? I've driven by this neighborhood before, and there is a house for sale, but it says for sale by owner. And I went up, obviously, I'm a realtor. I went up to the house, and this was before I was with them. And I was like, hey, why aren't you listing with a realtor? Like, blah, blah, blah. And, he shut the door in my face, pretty much like, whatever. So I said, so he might be a little aggressive. I'm not sure, because I don't know if he remembers me or not, but I'm going to go anyways, because, I'm going to let them know, like, you guys are interested in this neighborhood. So I went, and, he was hesitant at first because I usually like to wear my name tag and let people know I'm a realtor. So he was hesitant, and I was like, no, you see that, vehicle back there? It has a family that's interested. And we ended up, scheduling. And so the demeanor went down, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And so then when I went back to the car with the family, they were like, I can't believe you just went up there. Like, you are definitely our realtor because you are not shy. Like, obviously, these people hated you to begin with, and you still, not hated, but, they don't, when people do home for sale by owners, they don't want to deal with realtors, but they want to deal with you when you have buyers, right? So that's kind of, but I think that the extrovert thing is like really, to my advantage. And so that's one thing I think is different. Another thing that I like to think is different, I don't like to stick to like little boxes of like, oh, I'm just going to talk about this listing. I mean, I do, right? But it's, we're in a modern world. You have to like step out, do something a little different, and show your personality. Everybody has attention, like they only have like a short amount of time that you have their attention. So like you have to like do something that's a little different. You have a very limited time to show your personality. So I think, I try to do that. I mean, I'm sure I can get better, but that's what I try to do. And with your question about who do I like to deal with the best, I love dealing with, I don't know if they're considered boomers, but anybody over 50 is my preferred. Like, the last two women that I have dealt with, they both have the same personalities. They're from two different places. One of them's from Texas, and the other one, I don't know where she's from. She's not from Florida, but they even speak the same. Their mannerisms, they ask deep questions. We connect on a deeper level to the point where it's like, you know what? If you're not even looking for a property anymore, like, I would love to hang out and sit down and have a conversation with you because you have so much depth and like so much wisdom. I like dealing with like people like that. I'm not saying I can't deal with like people my age or younger, but I truly enjoy like working with like people who have conversations. I don't care about text messages. That's cool, but like I feel like a phone call goes a long ways. You can interpret things better. So I like dealing with, when it comes to my preferred client, I like dealing with a little bit older that doesn't mind having an actual conversation. And I think people my age and under don't get that anymore. They're too distracted. They're too, I don't know what's going on with them. But I enjoy that because then out of that, even if a transaction doesn't come out, I get something out of it. And I'm sure I hope that they get something out of it too. So I get something deeper out of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, so
Yeah, I'd even
if
kind
that
of
answered your,
I would go probably a next layer deeper and just be it's people that want to be open and are fine being open, and are
Yeah.
willing to take down that wall and just lay the cards out there and just let it be as it needs to be. Because again, these are meaningful conversations. These are conversations that need to happen. There's very big decisions on the line where we start talking about homes and investments and other things like that. That's where I can understand you on that one. So we know
Mhm.
people who want to be more open, a little bit deeper of a conversation. I'm guessing possibly a little bit more family oriented, maybe as well, right?
Yeah, but even if they don't have like a family like orientation, it just answering questions that really matter. Like the lady I'm still helping her find something. She's an artist, and she talked in depth about why she started drawing, and so that kind of paints a picture of what kind of vibe she wants. And she wanted something on the water, but like not the beach, like the bayside. And so the one that I sent to her recently, just the backyard, because I know so much about her, because it wasn't just like, hey, my name is Brenda, hey, your name is, it was because I got to know her, that I saw myself in her shoes in that backyard. And she even said, like, that's a very peaceful backyard to paint. And I'm like, exactly, because I picked up on that with our conversations, genuinely getting to know each other. Because then I put myself in her shoes, and she's an artist who likes to paint. So, and she's a little older, so she needs something that feels like a peaceful serenity getaway. If that makes sense. And so that's why it's important to really get to know your client, because how are you gonna envision yourself in a home space if you don't know anything about them?